When I did psychedelics, I think it's not so much the drug, but it's what the drug shows you. It shows you that you're telling yourself things that aren't true. And you could tell yourself something else.
Intent.
Intense. Introspective.
Truthful.
Spiritual.
Eye-opening.
Novel.
Inspiring.
Colorful. Fun.
Emotional.
Man, it was the most beautiful and life-changing experience I've ever had in my life.
I felt this weird sense of like suffering, not on my part, but I feel like I could feel the entire world suffering.
I was looking at it and I was just like, oh shit, this is super like crazy. Like I'm really about to take this.
I tried like putting water on my face and washing my hands, and I looked down at the soap, and like the bubbles like started looking like a bunch of eyes. And the eyes were staring at me, and I was staring back at them, and I was like, okay, I am definitely high.
It was like a weirdly specific moment that made me get rid of my social anxiety, and I didn't feel social anxiety for the first time.
Really core memories. I remember it started raining, and then we all just got naked in the rain, and then like put the tarp over. We had the best time, and it was really fun, and one of my best memories.
Hello.
Can you just tell me your name?
My name is Peter Macedo.
My name is Isaac Estrada.
My name is Jesse Holland.
My name is Jared Akiyama.
Hello, my name is Sam Petula.
My name is Donovan.
My name is Jeremiah.
Can you tell me what kind of psychedelic drugs you've tried?
I have done ecstasy, I have done acid.
LSD.
Acid.
Acid.
LSD and mushrooms.
Shrooms.
Psilocybin mushrooms.
Shrooms.
Just shrooms.
Mushrooms, plenty of mushrooms.
Shrooms, Molly, salvia. I've done most things, honestly.
Can you tell us about the first trip you've had?
Actually, the first time I took psychedelic mushrooms was in a ceremony, a sacred ceremony, with my mom. We both were kind of very interested into the psychedelics, and she had the opportunity of going to a personal development retreat. And in that retreat, they had offered a psychedelic experience as like a journey within, they called it. They took us to like the middle of nowhere in Austin. We went out to a barn and they had laid us down on our mats. They gave us about 3.5 grams of mushrooms. And there were some big old mushrooms. I was like, yo, how am I gonna eat these? This is like, I'm about to go to Mars or something. This is insane. But
So you were doing it together with your mom?
yeah, but we were like on the opposite side of the room because, you know, she was like, look, I don't want anything to do with you. I got my own things to worry about. And I was like, yeah, me too. I don't want to like turn over and like, oh my God, I'm doing mushrooms with my mom. That's crazy.
And how was the trip?
Man, it was the most beautiful and life-changing experience I've ever had in my life.
I took it when I was 16, and it was a very like tumultuous time in my life. Like I felt like at the time I didn't notice it, but there was so many like different kinds of pressure on me, and I was in these relationships with friends and other people that like I didn't realize, but they were really bad and really like putting a lot of stress on me. I took acid with some of my friends just on some weekend, and then the after effects of that completely like, I don't think anybody noticed, but like inside my head, everything was different. I feel like before I was just so like constantly playing a character, and afterwards it was like I was way more naturally myself.
My first trip was with my girlfriend at the time of 1 year and my best friend, just us three. So I'm at this beautiful place in a sand dune. None of the wind gets to you. It's a beautiful sunny day. We set ourselves up for success, and we take shrooms, about 2 grams, 2.5 grams, the normal amount, like for the full experience. Nothing's happening at first other than a few stomach aches, and the next thing you know, the sand starts to become a lot more entertaining. And you look down at the sand and you see it starts like vibrating. It starts breathing is a common thing.
And you don't get scared at any point?
Scared? No, I am I am like at an amusement park. I'm like, it's working.
After taking shrooms for maybe 2 or 3 times, I've taken them like 20 times now, but after the first couple times, I feel I've looked at my whole life differently. And this is like my morals, my taste in things have completely 180'd, or at least refined themselves.
So the voices in my head were a lot more negative before my trip, and they were telling me things that were so mean. We tell ourselves so many mean things, I think, and it can really affect our self-esteem, and it can affect how we see the world. It's not so much the drug, but it's what the drug shows you. It shows you that you're telling yourself things that aren't true. Almost like there wasn't a voice, there wasn't a negative voice talking to me, telling me, putting me down. Because, you know, as you grow up, as you get older, I feel like we collect shame over time based off things we see online or people in our lives that might tell us something that's not true. And it's almost like a big chalkboard with scribbles on it. And when you do these drugs, it erases everything. It makes me feel really good. I'm kind of craving it now, honestly. I think I need to be grounded again.
Have you ever felt scared during the trip?
I definitely have. I did shrooms a different time at my house, and other people were freaking out on shrooms. I started to be like, oh God, I'm responsible.
So I was in Amsterdam, and shrooms are illegal over there. Everything looked like I was in a TV almost. And it wasn't displeasing. It was maybe annoying, but it was shrooms. I wanted whatever, it seemed cool.
And you were not scared?
I wasn't scared at this point. I was just like, okay, they're kicking in. Okay. And it was just at the beginning. So I was like, I was a little bit nervous, but I thought maybe it'll just be really crazy. Maybe I'll see crazy things. People around me start to look a little bit less recognizable. Their faces start to blur. Like, I can't recognize features. Everyone's face just looked like skin.
How did that make you feel?
A little bit freaked out, but I was also like hyper aware that I was on shrooms. I was just like, don't let it scare you. When I started to hear things like crazy, that's when it just became like insanity. I started getting scared when the sky turned kind of nasty green, like a kind of weird green you never seen, but still green. I think my psychology took over. I just was like shivering. I'm already max freaked out though, so I feel like my brain's just like kind of like taking everything and just ignoring. It's like, put your head down, don't even dissect anything. Just wait for it to be over. Like, if you see anything weird, doesn't matter. If you hear anything weird, doesn't matter.
Because you go through like thought loops. If you're really anxious about it, or if you're like, it's an uncomfortable subject for you that maybe stems from something deeper, you know, it like runs in a circle.
I call it the loops. It's when you get stuck in a loop thought. You have to be okay with surrendering yourself and just like letting it take the ride. If that's bad, you know, you're confronted with all your traumas and bad thoughts.
He was just telling me like, I feel like I'm stuck in this loop. I feel like I'm stuck in this like cycle of thought that he said. He was just like repeating it over and over again. And that definitely like, it freaked me out and it stressed me out. So I was like, damn man, like this is like my best friend, and I really wish I could like connect with him in this moment.
You need to actually think about it and work through it instead of pushing it away, because that's where it's gonna get bad and uncomfortable.
After shrooms, it really like dumbs down your perspective. It's like, wait a second. I am me in my own bubble, with my own family, with my own problems. And every single person I see on the streets, these are all individuals that are wrapped up in their own world, worried about their own problems. So it's like, wow, how silly am I to be freaking out about this one thing I got going on when there are these huge problems, all these other problems, all these other people that are worried about the same thing. It like makes you just more aware of how small you are. But shrooms, like, they force other pathways to be created that relieve you of previous traumas, memories, things that might be holding you back.
I love the analogy of sledding. So think of when you're sledding and you're creating this path, And that path is your neural pathways talking to each other. And then a fresh blanket of snow, the path, it's covered up. And when you take psychedelics, this new path is shown. So you have neural passageways that are easily talking together. And then when you trip, they are talking together. And that changes your behavior and way of thinking, which is really cool.
You're always gonna be hit with snowballs in life. That can really cloud how you see the world and your lens of the world.
I'd say after taking shrooms, life became more real in a sense. I feel like after seeing things in a certain way, a film was like lifted off my eyes. Like when you have a new phone, you just peel that off. It's like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Like it looks actually better.
Before shrooms, you can tend to be, the normal person will be very egotistical, they'll be focused on themselves. Your problems are so much bigger because they're the only ones you're really thinking of.
I think the therapeutic effect is inevitable whether or not you're looking for it.
There's a lot of hopelessness, and I think when you take these kind of drugs, that hopelessness can be transformed into something else, and despair can be transformed into something beautiful.
I think I just want to say that for me, psychedelics have really impacted my life in a way that like integrates every aspect of my life.
What's cool about psychedelics is they show you that duality, and you feel that duality. You feel the positive and negative at the same time, which sounds like improbable, but I think it's true.
It's important that you don't think that you're some shining star in the universe, Everybody is an individual part of the beautiful, world we have. And if you're able to see yourself as an individual that's a part of it instead of standing out of it, I feel like it benefits the entire world, actually.